Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Mai, and today's video is this little witch's cottage that I have built as the final part to my Enchanted Village series, which if you haven't seen the other videos, I have decided to make like a little townhouse complex where the first house that I made was for a fairy, then I made one for a vampire, and then a mermaid, and now a witch or a spellcaster. But pretty much, yeah, it's like a little complex of occult houses, and yeah, I've been working on it for a few weeks. Thankfully, though, I am going to be back to my old schedule. If you hadn't heard, I have been moving and traveling, so I had to kind of roll back the amount of videos that I was making per week. But now I'm going to be back to my old schedule, posting on Wednesdays and Saturdays, which I am so excited about. But we're starting off with the shell. I had a very clear idea as to what I wanted this little back porch. I knew that I wanted it to be on a little bit of a platform, and for some reason I just knew that I wanted to have a green roof. But I'm so happy with the results of this. I think a little bit it was hard for me to like get back into building, but I think slowly but surely I figured it out. And yeah, I'm just like so glad to be back and filming for you guys. So before we continue as well, I want to apologize if there's any kind of rough background noise or just like, I don't know, the audio is not great for this video. I am still working on figuring out my new setup. So yeah, if it's not super crisp and clean, I apologize for that. But hopefully by the next video, or probably the one after that, I'll figure it all out, be fully organized, and it'll be much better. But yeah, for the outside, I decided to use this kind of shingling from, I think it's from Get Famous actually. I don't think I've used it too often, but yeah, these shingles from Get Famous, I was kind of struggling because I couldn't really find the right swatch. For a while, I even tried to change all the walls to stone, I think, as well. But this like kind of the reddy brown one is actually the one that I end up with. And I really love this window from Realm of Magic that I've put at the front of the house. That was something that I knew for sure that I wanted to have, as well as kind of like that little turret. And I'm really happy though with the actual like result of the outside of the exterior. I decided to go with this wallpaper from Get Together on the upper part because I really just loved the mix of the stone and the timber and the stucco. And yeah, I do the shingling on the bottom, but yeah, just decided to add a little bit more variety. I had kind of like some Pinterest board ideas going, and technically the swatches don't match perfectly, but I still think that it like works out. And over here for the tower, I actually end up using some windows from the Castle Estate kit, which I felt kind of gave it an extra like spooky vibe. This is a witch's house after all, and I think it was really hard to kind of make it a little bit unique because I had kind of a lot of tendencies to make the house a little bit more similar to either the fairy house or even the vampire house. Nothing close to the mermaid house for sure, but I think there were a lot of similarities that I had between just I don't know, because a witch is kind of, you know, also very into like the greenery, which is very fairy-like, and also a little bit spooky like the vampires. So there were a couple of like similarities or overlapping items. But yeah, because the top like wallpaper that I used on the exterior was a bit of a lighter, more orangey wood, and then the bottom one has a bit of like a colder, darker brown wood, I actually made these windows from Get Together that I put on the side. The top ones actually have a different swatch than the bottom ones, which I actually kind of liked the variety and like diversity that it kind of gave the house. I'd love to know what you guys think about that, if you guys would have probably done the same, or if you prefer like more consistent windows. I feel like everybody kind of has a different like opinion on that. But yeah, even here at the front of the house, I used the Realm of Magic door, but then I ended up using Strangerville windows. The windows are kind of all over the place when it comes to like, you know, keeping a consistent style or even a consistent pack. And for the mailbox, I actually used this one from, I think it's Werewolves, which was really cute. And over here on the interior, I already worked out the floor plan, and I actually ended up using this green wallpaper from the new Bistro kit. I thought it was so perfect and so cute, and I'm so going to be using this way more often. Over there on the stairs, because the stairs, like the platform, kind of makes, I don't know, it covers the bottom of the wallpaper, but then if you put that same wallpaper on the stairs, it doesn't like get cropped. Then it kind of looked a little bit uneven, especially because it has that like line going all the way around. So I tried to change the stairs to a paneling, but it didn't really work, so I decided to leave it. And even like these curtains are kind of clipping into the ground, but I've just decided to ignore it. So I'm sorry if it bothers you. And here in the living room, I really like how this turned out. I actually mixed in a lot of different packs for the living room because I think the couch is from Growing Together, the chairs are from Realm of Magic, and yeah, I don't actually remember what I placed as like the kind of TV table. Oh yeah, just used a base game one. But yeah, the rug from Werewolves is actually probably one of my favorites, especially for this kind of style of build. Anything that's a little bit more traditional, it just works so perfectly. And over here, we've kind of created like a bit of an awkward space. So I've decided to just place like a huge cluster of plants, which is a lot of fun to do. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to find plants that are all the same style and that work well together. But I still very much enjoy it, and I'm always just so obsessed with the results. Definitely when I made like my flower shop, bookshop, cafe, I got a little bit more used to making these because that place was so full of plants. It was like so overwhelming to just be all placing everything, but it looked so good, and then it just gave me a lot of practice for like these situations, and it just looks really nice, and I feel like it really fits like the witch aesthetic. But it's really interesting because this house actually ends up being probably the only house on this entire lot that has a TV. I decided to place like a kind of smaller, like older TV from base game in here, just as like a little bit of entertainment, just as a way, I don't know, to add a little extra something to make this a little bit more different too. I feel like I really was struggling to make this not look a lot like the other, not like just a dark fairy house, you know? I also, of course, decided to place some cat items around. Probably one of my favorite things to do with that kind of tree-looking scratching post is to size it down as well and place a smaller one next to it. I don't think that the cats can actually use the smaller one. I haven't ever tried it, but I think that it looks a little bit cuter and doesn't make it look so awkward. But here next to the stairs, I have started to place bookshelves, which I struggled to find the right one, and I also really struggled with the railing. I hate how it always clips into the side. It's so unnecessary. I don't know how it hasn't been fixed yet. I mean, there's a lot of things in the game that haven't been fixed that I am waiting to get fixed, but I also really want to talk about this archway that I picked to go into the kitchen. It's from Jungle Adventure, and I'm obsessed with it. I don't know why, it just looked so perfect in this space. I wasn't really expecting it to fit so nice, and yeah, just to be using Jungle Adventure in a witch's house. But we're moving on into the kitchen, and the kitchen is pretty small, probably smaller than I would have liked. But I do make it work, and I put in like a little dining area, kind of little breakfast nook. And right now we're using these appliances from Cottage Living, but I end up switching the stove to the one from Realm of Magic, which is a little bit more witchy and whimsical. But here I put in like a little kettle and stuff, and I move on to the dining area just to kind of clear my head a little. Like I said, I'm like not fully back into like the building, editing, yeah, just the channel mode right now, but I'm slowly trying to get there. And yeah, so I kind of took a break from the kitchen, decided to work a little bit on the dining area, and it actually ends up looking really, really cute. I do really like this kitchen, and in post-production, I put in a whole bunch of extra decorations and things like that, and yeah, I'm honestly really, really obsessed with this result. I was really excited for the witch's house. I definitely like started with my favorite and ended with my favorite. The fairy house was one that I was most excited for, and then the witch's house obviously as well. It just, I don't know, those two aesthetics just fit me pretty nicely. And probably in the future, I'm gonna want to make more of these style houses, you know, fairy house, witch house, but maybe probably as like a standalone and not as part of a big complex. I think it was definitely harder to make it as part of a townhouse complex because there wasn't really a lot of room to like move the camera around. And I was also trying to make them all very different. So yeah, whenever I did a couple things or I used items that I had used in the other houses, I was like, I don't really want to use that. So yeah, when you're like kind of comparing to the other ones, it's not as fun. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely try to make a standalone one, and that way I can also like alter the lot to look however I want. And yeah, I think that'll probably be easier as well since this format is so limiting. But here I'm remembering that I didn't add cabinets, and that's probably why the kitchen just didn't look right. So I just used the matching ones from Cottage Living, and you know, they match the counters. And yeah, I really like the yellow. I do really love the mix of colors that I used around here. Over here I'm trying to add some like bigger plants, but I think I end up using an end table and placing just some like base game planters, which I'm pretty obsessed with. I think that they look amazing. I'm also really happy with like the mix of woods that I've used in this house. Sometimes, I don't know, I tend to not want to mix so many woods, but yeah, it ended up looking pretty great, and I'm really happy with it. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Yeah, any advice or anything that you want me to build in the future, I'd love to know. Here under the window, I was trying to find either like a little table or an ottoman or something, and I actually end up using these for rent little like ottoman stools, and I sized one of them down and kind of put them together to kind of look like a custom ottoman. I don't know how accessible they are, but they look really cute, and in The Sims, that's kind of all that matters. Like, honestly, aesthetic over everything. Right now, actually, I have family visiting, and my uncle is an architect, and he was kind of watching what I was building, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna tell you like the proper regulations and the circulation that you need and all of these things. And I'm like, dude, honestly, I'm just doing this for fun. Like, this is just art to me. I don't really care about circulation. This is just to look good. But it was kind of funny, because I'm like, yeah, obviously, even in The Sims, it's not accessible, let alone in real life. But we have moved on to the upstairs, to the bedroom, and I end up using around the house these doors from Movie Hangout, which isn't a pack that a lot of people have, especially like newer players. I think Movie Hangout is the kind of pack that only really veteran players that they got when we didn't really have a lot of packs available. But I just really love the kind of the hand-painted look that they had, and I used the matching wardrobe in the bedroom, and I'm totally obsessed with it. I want to apologize if there's any noise in the background right now. One of my dogs is waking up from her nap and making a little bit of noise, so I'm really sorry if that bugs you. Again, hopefully soon I'll be able to find a better recording setup and limit all that background noise. But the bedroom actually came together pretty quick. I don't think that there's like such a huge space that it makes it a little bit hard to decorate. So I think there was kind of like a perfect area for each thing. So there's just not a lot of room for interpretation. And I ended up doing that same little custom ottoman over there in the bay window. Also, this was where I realized that the entire floor was up on a platform, because when I had copy pasted the bottom to the top, I didn't realize that the platforms also carried over. So I fixed all of that, and we're working on the bathroom now. I'm using a wallpaper from Realm of Magic, and I'm using the flooring from the new Bistro pack. And I have to say, I'm kind of obsessed with the Bistro pack. I was also kind of looking over the decorations that they have, and like, they're so cute. They have like vintage photos and like frames, and I don't know, I'm just really excited to build a little cafe or something, which I think is going to be my next build. So I'm kind of excited for that. And over here we are working on our spell casting room, because since in The Sims we don't have witches, we have spellcasters, which are practically just witches. Yeah, I decided to make their little spell casting room, and I used the wallpaper from Crystal Creations, and I really love the way that I placed the bookshelves next to the window. I just think it's super cute with the curtain and everything. It all just looks so built in, and oh, I'm obsessed with it. I also decided to place this jewelry stand, or the jewelry making table from the Crystal Creations kit, or stuff pack. And yeah, I just like the swatches work perfectly, and I thought it was a great little addition of like, I don't know, skill building items, hobby items to place. So yeah, I feel like those two packs, Realm of Magic and Crystal Creations, go hand in hand. But we have moved on to the screenshots now. I didn't film the landscaping since there's already quite a lot of landscaping in the other builds, But yeah, taking the screenshots and stuff is so complicated because of how cramped this entire complex is. I definitely should have done like the back houses first and then the front houses. But anyways, this is our little porch. I love how it turned out. I pretty much just filled it with plants. And here is our finished living room. All of the little like bits and bobs that I added of like plants next to the bookshelf, and I changed the stool I think there as well. And here you can see that I also added a coffee table and those paintings from the bistro kit that I talked about that are just, I'm obsessed with them. Like I'm going to be using them everywhere. And here is our finished little breakfast nook. I added just some decorations on the walls from Realm of Magic, from I think that reef is from like Laundry Day or something. And of course I also cluttered up the kitchen. But here is our little back porch. In here, I think I placed the planter boxes, and I placed, the flower boxes on the windows as well. Here's our hallway. It's very simple. I just put a rug and some wall art. And here in the bathroom as well, I placed those same wall art pieces from Werewolves. And I also managed to fit in a little litter box for our cat, since the cat technically, I made this house for a cat. But here we have our bedroom. This was a little bit tough to take pictures of, but it just ended up being so cute and cozy. This is definitely like, this isn't like a scary witch's house. This is more just for your friend that's kind of witchy. But it's super nice and inviting and cozy and so magical. But this is going to be the last space we see. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I'm so glad to be back and in it, making videos for you guys. Bye buds, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Comment, share with your friends. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.